We go to the oral presentation, and we're watching team after team go in, and they're going in with these big projection monitors and computers and scale models and charts and graphs and 10 and 15 kids. They go in 45 minutes to an hour later, they come out. So for our kids, this was 2004, so PowerPoint might work at your school, but you go someplace else and it's not compatible or doesn't work. We didn't want the kids fiddling with the technology. We wanted the kids to communicate with the judges because we thought there was no way they were going to outdo anybody else, so the only thing they could really focus on was, what did you learn from doing the experiment you did, the problems that you solved? Just talk about what you learned. You can't outdo these other schools because you don't have the background or the information. But you can talk about your experiences. And for that, you didn't need all this technology. So we sent them in there deliberately with a 3-ring binder that we turned into a stand that can sit on a desk. The front side, when you flip a page, would be a graph or a chart for the judges to see. On the back side would be 3 bullet points or 4 bullet points so the students wouldn't forget what to say. So they go in, and 20 minutes later, they come out. And right away, the other teacher and I are thinking, wow, these kids really messed up. The judges couldn't wait to get out. And how did they get out in half the time? So of course, we're quizzing the kids because we're curious. Well, how did it go? And they're saying, well, it was fantastic. They ran out of questions. And we're thinking, okay, so how did that happen? He goes, well, there wasn't a question they could ask that we couldn't answer, and they basically said they were done. And we're like, okay, but can you tell us a little more? And so Lorenzo, he's kind of the joker of the group. And he says, well, Christian, who's the smart aleck of the group, says, well, Christian said something kind of smart alecky. And I said, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So it's like, what did you say? He says, well, they asked us why we didn't use a PowerPoint. And I told them it's because PowerPoint's for people who don't have anything to say. So I'm scratching my head trying to figure out, is that a reason to get thrown out? Or I couldn't quite figure that out. And so I probed a little more, and Oscar, he's the team leader, he says, they were really surprised that we were comfortable with the metric system. I said, well, the rules said, you have to use the metric system. Why were they, asking about that? And they said, well, a lot of teams were having difficulty. They kept messing up their units and the different numbers and everything. But they complimented us on how confident and comfortable we were, and they asked us why we were so comfortable. And Oscar, by this time, said, well, to the judges, that we all went to school in Mexico, and they used the metric system there. So, again, I'm trying to figure out if that's a reason to get thrown out, or